We're in the final hours of the most contentious presidential election showdown in recent memory. And by the time the polls close tonight, Michigan could set a record when it comes to voter turnout. Polling precincts saw high numbers this morning, and they're starting to see the next big wave of voters now. Christopher Lane joins us live from the polls on South Washington in Lansing. And Christopher, how are things looking over there?
Now, lines were pretty crazy here just a little bit ago, and I was speaking with poll watchers and poll workers, and they told me that it calmed down a little bit after the morning rush, where they saw a ton of voters here, and they're expecting it to ramp up and continue to get pretty crazy over the next couple hours. They might even be able to break records, according to the Ingham County clerk. Chris Henning made her way to the polls this morning, and she was impressed with how many voters had cast their ballots so early.
I was there about 10:30, and it seemed real steady. I was voter number 419, and I understood that there's about 1,500 registered voters there. So that seemed like a pretty good pace from my perspective, at least, that already in about 4 hours, not even four full hours, that they had that many voters.
Clerks looking at those numbers, like Ingham County Clerk Barb Byram, are optimistic about the voter turnout in this election.
It is likely going to be one of our highest, I anticipate.
Another indicator of high voter turnout for Byram is the record number of absentee ballots in Ingham County.
Last count, we had already processed 35,000 absentee ballots in Ingham County alone. Those are ballots that have been sent out and returned, and that was as of yesterday, so I'm sure that number will certainly be higher.
With such high turnout, Byram says it could make it a bit slower for voters.
Because there are so many new voters or people who haven't voted in a while, sometimes things have changed and they're not as experienced with the process, so that might slow things down.
Now, Byram tells me that she doesn't want those lines to discourage voters. If you're in line at 8 o'clock, you will be able to vote even if it closes and you're still waiting in line. Live in Lansing, Christopher Lane, Fox 47 News.
Well, if you haven't made it out to the polls yet, there is still plenty of time. As you heard Christopher just say, you will be able to cast your ballot as long as you are in line by 8 o'clock.